Hello and welcome back to the Bad Back Gardener. Today we're going to be planting tomatoes. It's actually the last week of March, so it's kind of early to get tomatoes out, but looking at the forecast, it's supposed to stay relatively warm for the next week or so, so that'll put me into April, and that's kind of when I try to get my earliest tomatoes in. Now I will have to protect them with I have TPs, which you'll see, and then I also put row cover over them and cover them that way. And I actually put some other, if it gets real cold, I'll put a heater actually in with them and nurse them along until the weather breaks for good. But it works for me. I've actually gotten early tomatoes for my area. It'd be very early in May 19th is the earliest I've ever gotten a ripe tomato out of the garden. But that was a couple years ago, so I'm going to try and get them as early as I can this year, because that's one of my favorite things out of the garden. So I really enjoy the fresh tomatoes. So we're going to try and get some early, and that's what we're going to do here right now. Is we're going to prepare this bed. I'm going to till it up. I'm going to add some compost and some potting soil to it. Every year I do that to try and get the soil to where I want it to be. And then we'll plant some tomatoes and put some protection up over them and see what we can do. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is till up this part of this section of the garden. I don't have very many tomatoes to start out early. I only have 4 tomatoes, so we'll start those today. And so I only need to do one section of the bed. I don't need to do a whole lot of the bed. So we'll just till up this one section and add the ingredients to it here. And we'll get going. All right, we got that all tilled up. Now I'm going to add 2 bags of potting soil and 2 bags of composted manure to this section of the bed. This helps keep the soil nice and loose in the beds. Give it a good consistency so it's easy to work with. It's one good thing about working with raised beds is the soil is in better condition to start early, so you can start stuff like this early. If this was down in the ground, I don't know that I'd be able to start anything right now. But because it's up here, the soil is very workable. I can do this today. And now we'll spread this around too. And then I'm going to give it a good mix up here with the tiller real quick. Alright, let me grab my rake here. And we'll rake it nice and smooth here. Looks pretty good. Alrighty. Rake over there. Now we're actually ready to stick some plants in the ground. So what I'm going to do I'm going to dig, and being this is a raised bed, it's going to let me plant these very deep, and that's what I want to do. Because when I plant them deeper, even though my pot's only this big, I'm going to plant them about that far down. It creates such a good root ball during the rooting system during the year that it takes drought really good. If I don't get to water them very good, they don't need a whole lot of watering, because this will hold water very good. And with such a large root base, it does really good. It's called trenching. I'm going deep. Sometimes you can lay them sideways as well, which gives you a bigger area too. But I'm actually going to go straight down and go as deep as I can. That's why I'm going to use this shovel and dig out as far down as I can get. My beds are almost 2 feet tall, so I can get down there a good 12 to 18 inches to plant this. So by the time I plant a tomato plant that's this tall, it's only going to be sticking up about this far out of the ground, maybe a little bit taller depending on how lanky they are right now. So I'm going to go ahead and dig the 4 holes. Actually, I'm just going to do 2 at a time right now, just to kind of so I can show you what's going on. And then I can, where I'm putting this dirt at, is where I'm going to stick the other 2 at. So you can see how far my shovel is. It's going to be that deep into the ground. So that'll do there. All right. So into the hole, I'm going to put some fertilizer. This is 3 to 4 month feeding fertilizer. And I'll spread it in amongst the stuff that I'm going to fill it in with too. And I'm also going to put a little of, it's called Terrasorb, but it's like little crystals that hold water. And that'll help with the watering this year as well. These are actually a little stuck together, but they're going to work fine. So usually it's pretty crystally. But I really don't need a whole lot in this right now. And also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little, this is a piece of drywall, which is made of gypsum, which that's what's going to help keep from getting blossom rot on the ends when the tomatoes grow. Kind of gives them a good start. And I've been doing this, and I've had good luck with doing this. So I take a little file. All right. Okay. So I got that done. Get that mixed in there. All right. So now I'm going to grab a tomato. So I'm going to squeeze this a little bit here to get the root ball. Try and get a lot in one piece here. It's pretty good. Get her down there as far as I can. I'm going to fill in the rest of it here. That planted in there nice. Can even pinch off some of the lower branches because it's going to be covered up pretty good. Plant it in here. Is what I'll do next is I'm going to put some of the teepees over them. That'll kind of protect them from the wind also blowing them too much here. But we'll put that as over. I got 3 of them already filled. I got one left to fill here. And so we'll fill that one up real quick, stick it on, and then stick one of the other ones on. So let's do that first. These are actually called Cozy Coats. This is my first year trying them. I had a different kind of them. It always worked well for me, but I'm going to try these red ones this year. So yeah, the secret is putting a little bit in each one, each little sleeve. There's little individual sleeves that you got to fill up with water. And if you put a little bit in each one and go around, it's much easier. You fill one up the whole way, it wants to tip over a lot easier. So what I usually do is I go every other one to start till I get it where it's going to sit up a little bit for me. It can be kind of awkward a little bit to do, especially when the wind's blowing. And sometimes you get sprayed. When they close and it hits the plastic, you get sprayed a little bit. Then I go around, after I got every other one, I go back around and fill in the ones that I didn't get. And once you got a little bit in each one, then you can go around and start filling them up a little higher. Okay, now I'm going to take this, and this is the tricky part. You got to be able to spread it out a little bit as it goes over the tomato so you don't break it. Just like that. Spread it out so it kind of comes in. This heats up during the day. The water heats up. And at night and stuff when it's cold, it releases the heat into the plant to keep it from freezing. They're good to, I think they're good to 26 degrees. Or something like that, down to 26 degrees. And then, like I said, I will also cover this with a row cover too, which keeps the heat in as well. All right, what I use for metal supports is 1/2-inch conduit, metal conduit, and I have a bender that I bend them into shape with. This will give me a nice tall support for my tomatoes. Nice solid support. To hold my row cover on, what I use is binder clips. Extra large jumbo binder clips. They work really good. They hold it right onto that conduit and you don't have to worry about it coming off in the wind or anything like that. So we'll take okay. All right, that's about it for this episode. They're all covered up and ready to go. Hopefully we still get warm weather. We don't have to worry about too much running a heater out here. But if I have to, I'm not too far away from a plug that I can run a heater and stick it in here on a cold night. If it gets real cold, I'll cover it, put some plastic over this as well to give it an extra layer, and then put the heater in there, and that should keep it pretty good. So that's about it for this episode. And as always, if your back ain't hurting, you ain't working.